So, being a red diaper baby, your parents were communists.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about communism today?
I think I'm still a I mean, what's communism? You know, communism as an idea seems to me very beautiful, and it eschews selfishness. It eschews profit as the motive to drive everything. Communism, as practiced, was largely the terror. You know, that's our. I mean, it spread over a long time. You know, whether we had, and has been responsible for tens of millions of deaths across the world.
You think they killed more people than America has?
Well, I don't know. Probably.
Probably.
It's probable. Just, I mean, not in the same way. 20 million people starved. You know, and with the trying to collectivize agriculture. Right? You can't grow for your community. You can't grow. We'll tell you what to grow, and we'll tell you where your produce goes. Right? It didn't work.
The new capitalist government in Moscow has done an investigation of the starvation in the Ukraine, and they determined, it was just in the paper last week, that the starvations were accidental. They weren't intentionally caused by Stalin.
Well, intentionally. Did Stalin say, I'm going to go out and starve 20 million? No. But he said, I'm going to have collectivization of the farms, regardless of what happens. We're going to make this happen. The same thing with Robespierre. You know, we're going to have the French Revolution, regardless of how many people we have to kill. So, communism. Communism's wonderful. The new man. The new man. A new place of the human heart in operative behavior. Who wouldn't want that? But, you know, am I a Stalinist? No. Lenin had some great organizing ideas. Am I a Leninist? No. I mean, I don't think that there should be small cadres that direct the revolution. So, you know, what I bring out of that red diaper is just a sense of, that plus Jewish, a strong sense of justice and egalitarianism. You know? So that's where I am now.
How about the Cubans? Their revolution has survived probably longer than most.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they've given everyone an education in Cuba and
mm-hmm.
health care.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba used to be under Batista at a level of the poorest of the South American countries.
Sure.
And now it's the richest. And
I don't know if it's the richest, but they certainly have survived. Well, you know, in a blockade since 1961. So that's amazing, and they've kept a light burning for the possibility of other kind of social organization in the Western Hemisphere, 90 miles from the United States. It's amazing. It's astounding. It's heroic. You know, are there problems in Cuba? Of course. And some of the problems are the old problems, like we need to tamp down on counter-revolutionaries, especially since we have the U.S., you know, out there beaming stuff into the country and saying, come here, we make you rich, you know, and you want to do terrorism, we'll support your terrorism, and all of that kind of stuff. So,
well, we have to remember what happened to Allende in Chile in 1973.
Yes, exactly.
Here, he was a doctor, another person who was not of the poorest class, but he had a heart, as you mentioned in your writing here, that he cared about people, and he introduced a socialist government. And what did the American government do? They bombed his palace and killed him.
Sure.
And he was elected democratically.
Right.
I'm sure that would happen in Cuba if they weren't careful.
Well, that's what we're doing, you know, with the Palestinians. You know, they have an election. We push them into an election. They vote 70% for Hamas. We don't like the results, and we kill them.
Yeah.
We starve them. We do, you know, everything we can to undo the election.
Have you read about the Italian communists? The leader of the Party for the Refundation, Communist Party in Italy, he had an interesting statement a couple of years ago. He said that a man tried to fly. For hundreds of years, man tried to fly. They jumped out of windows with air parachutes. They tried wings of all sorts, and it didn't work. But finally, it did work for the Wright brothers. And today we all fly in jet airplanes, and it's just normal. And I was impressed that he compared that to socialism. That we've tried. The French Revolution was an effort, and we know that at the Battle of Waterloo it was defeated. And the Russian Revolution was another effort, and it collapsed in 1991. But eventually, maybe we'll get it right,
Well,
and make
possible.
a better world.
It's possible. Yeah, that's the flame of hope. Certainly is different kind of hope than Obama and the continuance of the American project. So, but yeah, that possibility exists. The great writer on that, the absolutely phenomenal, huge giant, is Ernst Bloch. And Ernst Bloch has a 3-volume encyclopedia, essentially. It's better written than it, called The Principle of Hope. And he looks at human history and culture in terms of what the different expressions of hope and the directions. And that's still a very... Peter Schumann, Bread and Puppet, said that was the most important book ever written. And I had never heard of it, but Peter's a heavy, and I thought, well, this is a heavy recommendation from a heavy guy. I should look at this book, and I couldn't really believe it. It has an honored place on my shelf, on my bookshelf.
I haven't heard that name before. His name's Ernst Bloch?
Ernst, E-R-N-S-T, B-L-O-C-H.
B-L-O-C-H. I'll have to look at that.
Principle of Hope, and it was only recently translated, well, maybe 10 years ago, because when I first found out about it, it's written in this very, very wild German. It's too much for me. And then it came out in English finally, and I was able really to use it.